Alright, what's up everyone? So reviews are coming in for Predator Badlands, and things are looking good for the franchise. Starting off with Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 74 reviews right now and it's sitting at 89%. So let's have a look at what people are saying about the movie. It zips along at a brisk pace, contains a surprising amount of pathos for a yarn set in this universe, and delivers a rollicking sci-fi fantasy adventure with plenty of solid action and striking visuals. Predator Badlands lacks the grit of Prey and the relentless viciousness of Killer of Killers, but it offers a unique perspective on a long-running franchise, along with meaningful stakes and effective emotional beats. The genre pivot to sci-fi adventure really paid off. Dan Trachtenberg gets very creative in the action and YAUTJA lore. It's so widely different, Predator fans might flinch at a few choices, but I dug this new franchise direction. Visually stunning and surprisingly emotional, Predator Badlands turns the iconic hunter into a flawed hero. Dan Trachtenberg blends brutal action with heart, and Elle Fannings shines in a dual role that gives the saga a fresh human pulse. I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that we have a Predator film that's essentially an alien and robot buddy movie. It's so refreshing to see a film franchise dish out something so unexpected. Here, Dan Trachtenberg with Predator Badlands has cemented himself as the new Predator guy, and it's in a great place. It may be fairly simple, feeling derivative at times of other pictures that boasted uneasy alliances and twists on who the real enemies are, but it's spot on for the series, staying faithful to the films that came before it. It cleverly pulls at the supposed laws of the series in a way that makes it more interesting, without diluting the fearsome nature of the title character. Trachtenberg is making the franchise richer with every installment. Once a franchise that felt very much like it was best left as an 80s or 90s action relic, now seems like it's got plenty of surprises in various directions to go. This entry very much seems like it could be the start of a full-on spin-off to the series. Let's look at a few negative reviews on here, and they're saying things like, the movie has no tension, or how the origins should remain a mystery. One person said the movie lost the sci-fi horror it once had, and replaced with a Disney action movie. Another person did not like the PG-13 rating. There are way more positive reviews than negative reviews, so it seems the ones who posted on here did like the movie. Now let's look at a couple of other outlets. IGN gave the movie an 8. They like how the franchise is going in a new direction. The pairing of Dec and Thea brought new energy to the franchise, and it gave us a different kind of hunt. Empire Magazine gave it a 4 out of 5, saying the movie has comedy and rowdy action. Variety said that despite the PG-13 rating it got, the movie is violent and has a lot of gore. It's not just red. You'll see colors of white, green, purple, and orange. Here's a small list about the weak points about the movie. Now, the characters outside of Dec and Thea are thinly written into the story, or how the pace of the movie goes by too fast, so you don't feel the emotional weight that is building up. Another one says the movie puts too much heart into the story. I guess that would mean emotional situations, and how a few tonal shifts feel a bit out of sync with the rest of the story. But there's a lot of praise given to Elle Fannings' performance, because she did have 2 roles in this movie with 2 different personalities, being Thea and Tessa. Even though they are twin sisters, they are very different. So it's mostly getting a lot of good reviews. Even though it's PG-13, this movie seems to work. The reception from Dan's take on the Predator has so far been really good, so the franchise might be in good hands. The website Zavi has an article about Dan and James Cameron. It says that James loved Prey and Killer of Killers. When Dan was preparing to shoot in New Zealand, James came over to him and showed him what's going on with the new Avatar movie. So Dan would pitch his idea about Badlands to James, and he wanted to hear his thoughts on it. Later on at dinner, James would sit down with Dan and tell him he thought about the pitch for Badlands in depth, and he thought it was going to work. Then about a month or two ago, Dan would show him the nearly finished cut for the movie. James wrote back a letter where he confessed he never thought this movie was going to work when he first heard about it, and he was delighted that it did. There was a time when they did think about including Amber Midthunder's character Naru to be in the movie Badlands, but later on they chose a synthetic because the focus was to have no humans in the story of Badlands, but also adding maybe further down the line we can do some cool things, maybe. Back in June of this year, an article on Fangoria has an interview with Dan where he says he's got a bunch of ideas he wants to do after Prey that would include Killer of Killers and Badlands, but at the end he says this: the third story, which I can't speak to yet, is what would happen with Naru. So this could be his next project in the Predator franchise. So that's it for the updates for today. Most of the reviews on social media are saying the movie is really good, so we know what to expect going in. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Yeah.